ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. has released his latest mock draft, and we're going to react to it here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. That's coming up next. Before we get there, 90,000 subscribers is in sight here on the channel, which would be an awesome number to hit ASAP. If you want to help us get there, if you want to be the 90,000th subscriber, hit the subscribe button. It's free. We're covering the latest Bears news, rumors, draft coverage, any more free agency signings. We'll cover those as well. Trade buzz. We do it all. Hit that sub button. Let's get to 90K ASAP. All right, here we go. Harrison Graham here, like I said, once again. We're going to get into Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest mock draft. Just a round one mock, so the Bears, of course, have 2 picks in the first round. As he's kind of labeling this as his post-NFL free agency mock draft. Obviously, some moves still out there for teams to make in free agency, but the big splashes are kind of done at this point. I think that's true for the Bears, who have the number 1 and number 9 picks. And Caleb Williams is the expectation for the Bears at number 1, even recent betting odds, which I don't put too much stock in when it comes to this stuff, but minus 3,000, the Bears expected to take Caleb, so that is certainly pretty notable there. Coming up, after we talk about Caleb Williams, who is the top pick in this mock, who will the Bears select at number 9? That's a big question mark in draft circles right now. But let's get to Caleb Williams, who did go round 1, pick number 1 here in Mel Kiper Jr.'s mock draft. And, of course, after trading away Justin Fields, Williams is the heavy favorite to be the selection for Chicago at number 1. And we've talked a lot about it the last couple of days. This is a big week coming up for Caleb Williams and for the Bears as well, as they continue to kind of finalize this evaluation, if you will. USC's Pro Day is tomorrow, Wednesday. If you're watching this on Tuesday, if you're watching on Wednesday, it's today. Shortly after that, we don't know exactly when yet, Caleb Williams will have his top 30 visit at Hallis Hall. And then the NFL Draft, of course, is on April 25th with the first round that night. And then the next 2 days, 26th and 27th, for rounds 2 through 7. And you would think starting tomorrow and as the week goes on and into next week, we should really start to hear more breadcrumbs. Maybe, I don't want to say concrete plans from Chicago, but some deeper reporting. I expect it to be a wild scene at USC. We know the Bears are planning to send at least half a dozen people out there per Courtney Cronin and other reports. All the big wig reporters are going to be out there, so that is certainly going to be fascinating. Brendan Rice went on Colin Cowherd today, the USC wide receiver, and said that Caleb will be throwing to him tomorrow. So if there's any question, what if Caleb doesn't throw at the pro day, that appears to be unfounded. Here's Mel Kiper Jr. on this selection for the Bears. He says, the Bears are going to take a passer with this pick, and all signs point to it being Williams, my top-ranked prospect. The good thing for the rookie who takes over, he will have solid playmakers around him on offense. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore are a really good and versatile receiving duo, and I could not agree more. We've talked about how the Bears have set up the table well for Caleb Williams or whoever the next quarterback is, which is something they failed to do when they first brought in Justin Fields or even Mitch Trubisky. We've talked about Caleb a lot on this channel. I think he's the full package as a prospect. He's plenty big enough, over 6'1" and about 215 pounds. Got a rocket arm, mobile, plays with swagger and confidence. I would be very shocked at this point if the pick is not Caleb. And I told you guys, really the only way I think it's not is if A, something really negative pops up, or B, if Ryan Poles and his staff have Drake May or another prospect very close or even on par with Caleb, and then some team that wants Caleb, maybe Washington at 2, just gives you some insane offer. But again, that's only if the evaluations are close. If not, you take your top guy at number 1 and you don't think twice about it. And to be frank, I think that's where this is headed. Do you guys want Caleb Williams? I know some of you have all along, some of you haven't all along. Maybe some of those people are starting to come around to wanting Caleb Williams in Chicago. Type W for want or D for don't. Want to get a pulse for Bears fans at this point in the process with, 37 days until the draft? Let me know where you guys are at. W for want him or D for don't. Now, we are sponsored by PrizePicks. Today's show is made possible by America's #1 daily fantasy sports app and new and returning users, we got a deal for you during March Madness here when you head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Sure, football season may be over, but the action on the hardwood is heating up. Whether it's March Madness or the fight for NBA playoff seeding, there is no shortage of high-stakes basketball this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's top fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. I got a sweet little deal for you guys, as PrizePicks is offering half a point, more or less, for Caitlin Clark in Iowa's first game on Saturday. That's a freebie. Take the more there. And then first four action tonight in the men's NCAA tournament, Colorado State, Virginia. Patrick Cartier averages almost 11 points per game. And this is a demon pick. You're getting it at 9.5. I get it. Virginia's an excellent defensive team, but Cartier already averages more than that, and Demon Picks raises the more or less projections there. So I think it's pretty good value there. You take the more, that two-player entry, you can win over 4 times your money, where typically it's just 3 times your money. Check it out today. Take advantage of the Caitlin Clark freebie right now. PrizePicks is simple. You pick more or less than on stat projections for 2 to 6 players on any given entry. Get started now. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a first-time deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Link and code are in the description and comments of this video. Okay, so Caleb Williams, the pick at 1. Let's see how things went before the Bears pick again at 9. Jaden Daniels, he's got ahead of Drake May in this mock. He's got Daniels going to Washington, Drake May going to New England. Then he's got all 3 receivers, and there's been some chatter. It could be 3 quarterbacks, 3 receivers. He's got Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Joe Alt, Dallas Turner. Now, one thing I'll disagree with here, I do think J.J. McCarthy will go in the top 8 before the Bears pick again at 9. Now, Kiper didn't do any trades in this mock, so maybe that's why, but I fully expect the Minnesota Vikings to trade up and try to go get J.J. McCarthy. So at number 9, who do the Bears pick? The receivers are gone. Joe Alt is gone. How about Jared Verse, the edge out of Florida State, who really fits the mold of what the Bears want in a 4-3 defensive end in terms of his size and athleticism. I think edge is the top need for Chicago right now. You look at Jared Verse's relative athletic score. Shout out Math Bomb, who puts these together every single year. Just under 6'4", over 250 pounds. I think he typically plays around 260, so that's a big defensive end there. Powerful, athletic. You see the vertical, the broad. Ran a sub 4.6 at the combine, which is nutty. Not insanely long arms, but above average at 33.5 inches. The shuttle and 3-cone were pretty good as well. I mean, 9.54 out of 10. That's a very high percentile for Jared Verse, and we know that RAS is something the Bears value very heavily when they scout these prospects. And I would love a trade down for Verse. I'm not opposed to it at 9 or Latu or Turner, but I think the best of both worlds in the real draft coming up is if you could trade down a few spots and still get one of the top 3 edges. I think that is like the dream scenario. If you take one at 9, I'm not going to bitch about it because those top 3 guys are really good. And obviously you can't force a trade. It takes 2 to tango. But Jared Verse, I think, is a rock-solid player. Really well-spoken guy. You guys are going to hear a clip from him in a minute as well. The production's been good. 9 sacks in each of the past 2 years at Florida State. The TFLs went down a tick this past year, but still pretty good in that department as well. And as we've said over and over and over again, other than Montez Sweat, you've got question marks at edge. You got DeMarcus Walker, who can play some edge. He also kicks inside. Ideally, he's a rotation player. Jake Martin, who they signed as a rotation guy. We're hoping that Javon Dexter takes another step on the interior. But Montez Sweat needs a running mate at that edge position. And Jared Verse, when we were out at the NFL Combine, we captured footage from his podium session. Here's what he had to say if you got the opportunity to learn from Montez Sweat.
I mean, you land with a veteran guy, at the end of the day, I think he knows I'm a young guy. I'm still going to need help. I'm going to need, to get the understanding, get the bearings right. He'll be able to, direct me in the right path, fix a couple things that I might, need help with that I didn't see in college that, they won't work in the NFL. These guys are all pros. These guys are vets and stuff. So I hope he, gives me the guidance I need.
I was really impressed with Verse at the Combine. I hung out at his podium setup for about 10 minutes or so. You can tell he's well-spoken, that, he's raised the right way, all that stuff. But he knows football, too. I mean, you just listen to the guy. He's talking about technique and different things. And just a, what's the word I'm looking for? classy's not the word, but just a guy who's ready to embrace being a rookie in the NFL. He wants to learn from seasoned vets, and who better than Montez Sweat, who has, similar type of skill set, good speed off the edge, big guy as well. So Bears certainly need somebody like that. And if you end up with Jared Verse at 9 or even better in a trade down, I don't think any of us would be upset with that because I think he's going to be a productive pro right away and has a Pro Bowl potential down the line as well. Who is your favorite edge in this draft? Again, the three guys to me, and then Chop Robinson a fourth. I would go Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, and Latu. I think Latu's the most polished right now. I think Turner has the biggest ceiling, but maybe Verse is kind of in between and is the best Bears-ready player right now with his size and weight. Who knows? I think all three would be good fits, but let us know who your favorite edge is in this draft. And don't forget to subscribe. We're 170 subs away from 90,000. I would love nothing more than to hit that number sometime this week. Hell, I'd love to wake up tomorrow and be at 90,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. I know a lot of you guys have been here since very early on, 5K, 10K, 20K subs. So that's amazing. It's been a fun journey, and we aren't going anywhere. So subscribe, turn on notifications. We'll see you guys tomorrow.